Dre all day.
Dre Baldwin, balloverseas.com, the overseas basketball blueprint. Talking another harsh truth about the overseas basketball world. This is when somebody says something like, if I can do it, you can do it. I have actually said this. I said this a couple videos ago. I said, if I can make it coming from a D3, walking on and not having any prospects, not having an agent, etc., then you can do it too. That is technically true, but it comes with an asterisk. All right, it comes with a caveat. Not everybody can do it just because one person did it. I've used examples here when I've been talking about these harsh truths. I've used somebody like Nate Robinson. He's 5'9", and he made it to the NBA. He had a career in the NBA. He didn't just get a contract and play in a few games to say he did it. He had a career. He was on multiple teams, multiple times, and that was his thing, playing in the NBA. He did it for a long time. However, how many other 5'9" players can you name who've done it? Right? It ain't too many of them. You can count them all on your fingers. So yes, he did it, and that does mean it's possible for you, but it also means you should look at you need to understand the rules versus the exceptions. Somebody like me coming from a Division III school with the background that I just explained, or the lack of background that I just detailed for you, for the most part, the rule is they're not going to make it. The exceptions are somebody like myself, or somebody like one of my teammates. He also made it. We're the only two people from my school ever to play overseas, and we finished school in the early 2000s. So it's been 15 years since. Nobody's made it since. Same school, bunch of players coming through. Nobody's been able to make it since, simply because we were the exceptions and they are the rule. So what you need to do, what you need to understand, you really need to understand, is that when you hear these stories, these rags to riches stories of people who made it despite the odds and everything being against them, and it gives you a heightened sense of belief that, yeah, they did it. That means I can also do it. That is 100% true, that they did it, and you can absolutely do it. But for you to do it, you're going to have to become an exception the way that they were. And what I would suggest that you do, here's how I'll suggest you suss this out and actually get some substance out of any of those stories. It could be mine or whoever's. Is you need to figure out, what was it about that individual that made them an exception as opposed to becoming a rule just like everybody else who fit their profile. So Nate Robinson was a 5'9" guy. He made it to the NBA and had a career. So what about all the other 5'9" guys who were athletic, who could score, who scored 1,000 points in college, who had highlights, they had game, they could do this, they could do that, they scored 50 in some summer pro-am game with nobody playing defense, just like Nate Robinson did, but he's the only one who played in the NBA and had a career. What is it about him that made him an exception as opposed to all the others who became the rule? You need to figure out what that is and ask yourself, do I have it? And I'm pausing here for emphasis, because this is something that you're really going to need to think about. This is how you strategize and strategically figure out how you separate yourself from other players out there and get yourself the opportunity that seems so elusive when you're on the outside looking in. You look at somebody like myself who came from a D3, didn't even play my senior year, was playing out of position even when I was playing in college, didn't even get to play the position I played in the pros when I was playing in college, didn't have an agent, didn't have any great game film, didn't have anything that looked like I was going to become a professional player besides the fact that I just thought that I had game and I had the belief that I wanted to do it. Like every player who's watching this right now, everybody believes they have game and they want to do it. All right, so that didn't separate me from anybody. What were the elements that separated me from all the other D3 players with the same background, same pedigree, same profile that allowed me to make something out of that where all the rest of them couldn't? What made me the exception as opposed to the rule? Now, I've posted 10,000 different ways for you to understand what made me the exception. All you gotta do is Google me. Not even got to be YouTube. Don't even have to be podcasts. Don't even have to be wherever you're consuming this. Look on any platform you want. I'll publish 10,000 ways for you to understand how I was able to do it as opposed to all the others who wanted to or tried and failed. But you need to figure out what is it that makes certain individuals exceptions and keeps other people as rules. And then you need to figure out if you have those things, or if you have any of those things, and how you can apply them and how you can make them obvious. So when somebody's making a decision, they can see it in you that you are an exception and they can choose you. That's the position that you want to put yourself in. This is all about the marketing and the selling of yourself to be a professional athlete, and you need to understand it in order to get in this game. That's why I got this book right here called The Overseas Basketball Blueprint. That's my name. I wrote this book. It's a 237-page book for anyone who wants to play professional basketball overseas. Even if you know nothing, you know nobody, you have no idea where to begin, this book is where you begin. I made the book free, so you don't even have to think about whether you can afford it or not, whether it's worth it or not. The book's paid for. All you do is cover a small shipping charge and go to balloverseas.com. Tell us where to ship the book. Tell us your address, wherever you live. You got an address, right? As long as you got an address, we'll ship this book to you. I don't care if it's a P.O. box. It could be your office. It could be your girl's house, your grandma. It don't matter. As long as you can get it, tell us where to send it. balloverseas.com so you can start your overseas basketball career. Not now, but right now. Work on your game. Dre all day.